What's up guys? Today I'm bringing you some gameplay from Black Ops 3 and this is free for all. I did pretty well. I'm not gonna say I did great, but I think I went 29 and 19, so I mean that's not negative, so there's always room for improvement. Anyway, so I'm gonna bring you today a story about something that happened to me a couple of years ago. It wasn't funny when it happened, but when I tell it, it makes me laugh because it's just how I am and how ridiculous I am. So anyway, I had a friend and he was just a friend and he had a really bad heart problem, and randomly when he would get stressed out, his heart would hurt like really bad, his chest would hurt, and we would have to rush him to the emergency room. And little side note, he had his license, I did not, so I was about 17, I might have been 18. No, I got my license when I was 18, so I was 17. And I didn't have my license, and both my friends did. Well, my male friend, he drove a stick. And anyway, so we're driving on the road, and back to the story. Driving on the road, and he's like, my chest hurts, like so bad. My chest just hurts. I'm like, okay. I was sitting in the front seat. I was just like, okay, well, let's see if we can make it to the hospital. It'll be okay, because none of us can drive a stick. And so we drive maybe about a minute and a half more, and he was like, no, I can't drive. I need to pull over. We need to call an ambulance, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, we can call an ambulance because I can't drive you in a stick. And so we pulled into a McDonald's, and we pulled over, and his chest was still hurt, and called an ambulance. The ambulance comes, and he was about 19 at the time, I think. So whenever like the ambulance talks to people about like why someone's chest hurts, they always like assume it's drugs. Every single time they assume it's drugs. Like, so, we're not the cops. You can tell us it's for his safety. Like, sir, he doesn't do drugs because of his heart. And he's like, the paramedic was like, are you sure he doesn't do drugs? I'm like, positive. He lives with me, because he did at the time. He was like, because you can tell us. And I'm just like getting mad. So I'm just like, no, he does not do drugs. He's not on drugs. Just take him to the hospital and stop talking to me. So I got mad. Anyway, so then I had my sister. My sister came to the McDonald's and switched me cars because she could drive a stick and I can't. So she gave me her car, and I had my permit at the time. But I didn't even think of it, so since it was my sister's car, I get in the front seat, and my friend who has her license to get in the passenger seat. And I did not have my permit on me because I didn't have a need to, because I wasn't driving anywhere. Anyway, so I'm just like all flustered. I have to go to the hospital. I'm going to go pick up my permit. We'll put some gas in the car real quick, and then we'll go to the hospital. He's going to be okay, all this stuff. So we go to the hospital, or like on our way to pick up my permit, I get pulled over, and I'm like, holy shit, I do not have identification on me at all. So I just start crying. As soon as the lights turn on, I am bawling my eyes out like I had just witnessed a murder. And my friend's just like, it's okay, it's not a big deal, it's alright, like it's not a big deal at all. And I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't have my license. I'm crying, sobbing. I have really bad anxiety, so anything like triggers me easy. But so the officer comes at the window, and I'm like rolling it down. It was like one of those crank windows, and it would get stuck like halfway. It was like I was driving like a Model T, but in reality it was a Mazda 1989. Anyway, so it like rolls down halfway, and the cop's like, he went to say, how are you doing tonight? And in the middle of him saying, how are you, he just looks at me and goes, why are you crying? And I'm just trying to tell him this story. And of course, you know how girls talk, like when they're crying, they're just like, like I was trying to drive. And it was terrible. And he was just like staring at me, and it was dark out. And my friend's like, you want me to tell him the story? And I'm like, yeah, tell him the story. So she ends up telling him everything that happened, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, okay, I understand that, but you didn't use your turn signal, which I didn't even have one. My left turn signal did not work. He said, you didn't use your turn signal, so even though there's an emergency, you still need to follow the rules of the road. I'm like, yes, sir, I understand, but again, I'm still crying. And so then he takes my friend's identification because he wanted to see if we had warrants, I guess. and he asked me to step outside the car, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm being put in handcuffs, like, this is it, I'm going to jail, like, I just automatically assume the worst. I gotta call my dad, tell him I'm going to jail. I was like 3 minutes from my house. I gotta tell him I'm going to jail, tell him he has to pick me up. All this stuff's running through my head, and I'm still bawling. And I had like a jacket on with like front pockets, and so when I got out of the car, he was like, "Can you put your hands behind your back?" And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, he's gonna handcuff me. I'm going to jail. Like, bottom line, I am going to jail. And he was like, "Ma'am, do you have any knives, needles, or weapons on you?" And I was like crying. I'm like, "Oh my god, do I?" Which obviously I don't. But the best thing I could come up with to get out of my mouth was crying. And I'm like, "Sir, there's bobby pins in my pocket." And he's just, I heard him like kind of chuckle, and he's like, "Okay." He's like, well, because I didn't want him to like feel it and think it was like a needle. I don't know. It wasn't smart, so I just wanted to be honest. But so then he takes me into his car and he puts me in the back seat of his car. And this is all for a no turn signal, which I mean, I guess it's for me not having identification, but still, it's just like crazy. And puts me back in his car, and he's like, asks me my name and everything, and I tell him it, and I'm still sobbing, and I'm just sobbing like uncontrollably. And it finds out that I'm clean, don't have any warrants, that my car has insurance on it, and all this stuff. And he like lets me go. And he just like opens the door for me, and I just wanted to hug him so bad. And he was just like, cops can be good people too. You drive safe. And I'm like, yes, sir. And I'm like crying. I just wanted to hug him, but I didn't want him to think I was like assaulting him. So I just like put my head down and like walked back to the car. But my friend, her eyes were just so big when I got back in the car. She's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like shaking. Like, I was so like shooken up about it. Like, the whole situation was just scary. So yeah, that'll be the story for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's not really, dang, look at that melee. Oh. But I know it's not really anything fancy, but it's just a fun little story. Make sure you hit that like button. If I get 10 likes, I'll do another story time video. Gotta start somewhere. And if you're not subscribed, please do. If you want more content, comment. If you have anything to say, if you want anything from me, like, just comment. My Twitter and my Instagram are in the description as well.